Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is John and welcome to ASMR Travels. This is the first video on this channel and I have a lot of exciting ideas in store for this YouTube channel, so stay tuned. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a walk in the woods. And I personally really love these kind of videos where people kind of get out and walk around. I get to see new places and get to experience new things and relax at the same time. So I'm hoping that this video will do the same for you. I'm not going to say exactly where we are just because, the internet can be a strange place sometimes. So I'm going to just say that we're in New England right now. We're in eastern Massachusetts, in the middle of the woods right now. And Massachusetts is my home. It's where I've grown up and I've lived my entire life. So I've spent a lot of time here and I've spent a lot of time in the woods as well. I pretty much live in the woods. I've lived there my whole life. So we're in very familiar territory. So as you can see, this path, this place that we're at right now is called the Memorial Forest. Uh, it is a small hiking trail. It's not, I wouldn't say it's super big. There you can see a trail sign right there with the reservation. Um, this place is not super big, but it is, I think it's a really nice walk if you want to just quickly get outside and, get yourself into nature kind of away from everything. When you first come in, it's right off of kind of a main road, so you do hear a little bit of traffic when you first come in here, but after about a 5-minute walk through the woods, um, you really feel like you're kind of away from everything. As I said, this trail is, I would say, it goes for a while, but this is going to be about a 30-minute video. Um, and I'll show you guys some different sites and kind of the focal points of this trail as well. Um, uh, it was a really nice day for the first time in quite a while, actually. It's been a really rainy summer. Uh, Seems like we get rain every other day, and if we get rain, it's for a few days at a time. The trees right now are still mostly green. The first day of autumn was a few days ago, and being where we are in the United States right now, in New England, the trees this time of year are starting to turn. Usually we see more color this time of the year, in late September, but like I said, this year's been a little cool and wet, so the trees have held on for a little bit longer than they usually do. Here's a look at kind of some surrounding water. If you saw kind of like a mound there with a little black hole, I call that the Hobbit's hole. Uh, I always think something's going to jump out of there when I walk by it, and it hasn't yet, but we'll see if it does in the future. And as we're going along here, you can see it's a pretty well-maintained trail. There's a pretty clear path, and it's very easy to stay on. It's not. I would say it's harder to get lost than stay on the trail. Kind of an interesting side note here. The trail kind of pops out in somebody's front yard, uh, which personally, if I was living next to a public trail and people kept popping out in my front yard, I don't know if I'd be the biggest fan of that, to be honest. That could just be a me thing, but anyway, the people there have lived there a long time and they don't seem to mind. So, as you can see, kind of in the corner of the screen, you can kind of see the sunlight peeking through the trees, and I love that when you go into the woods. You can see kind of Um, it's shady, but you can kind of see bursts of sunlight and beams of light coming through, and just aesthetically, it's really nice. Here's one of the trees that you can see starting to really change so far. I'll do a close up here, and yeah, it's pretty orange and yellow. There's the sun again right through there. But over the next couple of weeks, I think you can expect these trees to get really colorful. It gets very a lot of yellows and reds and oranges. We call it peak here. I don't know if anybody else has a different word for it, um, but it's really beautiful, and it's one of the main reasons why I love this time of the year. Um, if you go out to western Massachusetts, you can really see it. There's some weird looking mushrooms here. Mushrooms are kind of going to be a theme of this video. I don't think I've ever seen so many mushrooms on the ground in one year as I have this year, and so many different types of mushrooms as well. If you're a fiend for fungus, you're gonna have you're having a great year right now. Anyway, as we keep going here, I was talking a little bit about kind of the foliage. There's a lot of tourism in this part of the country um, for that foliage. A lot of people from different places and different states, different countries will come here, and especially just to see the leaves. It's really something, and I'm hoping to get out to Western Mass before uh, the end of the end of the foliage turning. So that's going to be really nice. Here's a little down tree right here. Right now, we're kind of getting a little bit closer to kind of one of the destinations that I was hoping for. We're crossing some water here, and the trees kind of start to fan out a little bit more as we get over here. We're going to be approaching a clearing soon, and it looks like a totally different environment. This tree to the right has a really interesting bend in it. I always see a lot of people trying to climb it, but when you're in a place like this, like the forest, this is neat. The trees in this forest really even aren't that big, but whenever you're just surrounded by these big trees, you just have this feeling of being so small, and it's really an interesting feeling. I was the only one here at the moment. There was nobody else here, so I had the entire resident uh, reservation to myself, which was really interesting. I don't actually think that's ever happened before. So we're continuing to go through the forest right now, and you'll notice that the trees look a little bit different. I'll pan up here. I really am a fan of that kind of a shot. I feel like they're very, um, skinny pine trees. Not much foliage in the bottom parts of the trees, but near the top, it kind of it's all concentrated at the top bit, kind of like a paintbrush. I think they're really cool looking trees, and this is, funnily enough, the only place where you really see a large concentration of those types of trees on this trail. But we're starting to kind of emerge from that, and if you kind of look to your left, you can see that something a little bit different is going to be coming up soon. In my opinion, it's the nicest part of this trail. And as you get to this part of the trail, you'll notice that there's a lot more ferns and kind of plants that signal that you're getting closer to water. A lot of roots here as well, so if you ever go through here, you need to watch your step. It's very easy I found it very easy when I was recording this video to take my eye off the trail and focus on what I was recording and not watch where I was stepping. Uh, so you can kind of see that things are opening up a little bit here. The trail's narrowed a bit because there's not as much land, and I'm going to pan over here. And you can see kind of a break from the trees and a little bit of a clearing here. You'll really be able to see it here, and in the distance you can probably spot some trees that are turning red. There was a whole line of them as I was going through here, and it really reminded me of fall. It's coming. Peak is right around the corner. And here we've got a tree that's leaning. Put my hand on it because I almost fell. And here we are. We're approaching kind of the focal point of this trail. This big opening. You see this big wetland with this creek. To the bottom left in this shot, you can see a typical New England plant, very common here, called the cattail. You see it everywhere, but I'm just taking some time here to kind of appreciate the surroundings. I always find a lot of peace here when I come here, and it's kind of just my own personal spot. You can see kind of a babbling brook right there, where the water's coming out, and I might try and include some water sounds in future videos because it was really calming here. As you can see, the water's not very deep, so if you were to trip and fall, you'd really only be up a little bit past your ankles. But this is just a really serene spot, and I would have stayed here longer, but I want to actually wrap this video up at a decent time. So there's a little dragonfly there that I ran into. So we're going to continue along this path and kind of this little boardwalk here. It used to just be two like rotting planks, but they actually about the year before the pandemic put down this boardwalk, and it is so much nicer. You actually can look around you instead of trying to look down and make sure you don't twist your ankle. So this kind of beckons into, we'll take one more shot here of the tree line, which is mostly pine trees. But we're going to go back into the woods here. Here are some big ferns that tell you you're near water. And right here is kind of a muddy spot, it always is, and me being the genius that I am, I decided to wear white shoes to go out walking. In the woods, yeah, I know. Clearly I'm a genius, but hopefully next time I'll remember to bring something a little bit better to walk in. But here we're going to go right back into the woods, and right through here, in about a few minutes, we'll approach this kind of straightaway, and during those few minutes, I'll kind of want to talk about the motivations for making this channel, kind of what you can expect going forward, and hopefully you'll something that you can unwind with at the end of the day and enjoy. But for now, we're still walking, and we're straight back into a woods environment. Trees everywhere, a little bit of light poking through, and pretty soon we're going to come up, actually right here, to a fork in the road. I stopped here and decided which one I wanted to go to. Here you go, I'm pointing here, and I'm making this way more difficult than it needs to be. Going left. Actually, going right would have probably been more interesting, but last time I went right, there's another shot of the woods here with a little bit of a water in that hole over there. That's a glacial feature called a kettle hole, if any of you wanted to know that. But anyway, last time I went right, um, while it was nice, I had this eerie feeling that somebody was watching me, and it was kind of creepy, and I couldn't wait to kind of get back to a more civilized place where there were some people. So um, we're going down a little bit of the safer path, I would say. But the trail kind of widens out again here, and you're surrounded again by some pretty big trees. Um, this actually, right through here, gets very scenic in the winter. If you're ever to come here when there's a fresh snowfall, or when there's, I don't know, just around sunset. I'm doing a panning shot here showing where kind of the surrounding area. Um, Sunset and snow is very nice here, and as somebody here in Massachusetts, I'm one of the few people who's a fan of the winter. I love seeing snow, so uh, I always like to come here during that time, and maybe we'll take a trip here again during that time as well. But as I'm going here, as you can see, it goes straight for quite some time. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about kind of this channel and kind of where we're going here. Um, so I named this channel ASMR Travels. I really want to focus on uh, kind of exploring the surrounding areas, exploring the world, different places that I go to, or that I might travel to, take you guys around with me, um, but do it in kind of a relaxing way, ASMR style. Um, I've seen a couple videos like that. Here's a mossy tree branch completely covered in moss. So anyway, back to kind of the motivations for this channel. Um, yeah, as I said, I really would like to take you guys along with me to different places. When we can't go to places, I would love to do videos where, I'm talking about, you know, maybe do some facts about different countries, do maybe some language videos, do really anything that involves um, exposing people to world culture. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I think that um, it would benefit a lot of people to kind of become exposed to different points of view and um, different well cultures. I mean, I can't find a better word for it right now. I always found it very interesting, and so I wanted to make kind of a place about on YouTube in the ASMR community about that. Like I said, I've seen a couple of videos about it. There's some interesting looking mushrooms here again. Um, I've seen some videos about it, and I really like when people do like those ASMR vlog style videos in different places. But I haven't really seen a channel like fully commit to that idea, and I think that'd be really unique. So I hope you guys like it. Uh, in from myself, a lot of this I'm doing this for me and because I want to do it, and it's been something I've had an idea for a while. But I am actually hoping that people want to watch these videos as well, so that would be great. Um, in terms of kind of my own experience with ASMR, I've, like a lot of different people, experienced it at a very young age. Um, Probably about 5 or 6 is probably my first memory with it, and but I never quite knew what it was called, or what it was. I just knew it was this feeling that in the back of my head that I liked. Um, like a lot of people, I think, probably felt the same way. Um, and then um, when I was kind of in mid high school, I kind of stumbled upon the ASMR community by accident. Um, and I figured out that there was a name for kind of the stuff that I've been feeling and the kind of the sensations that you feel when you watch ASMR videos. There's another mushroom there. Like I said, there's a lot of mushrooms in this video. There's going to be a couple more coming up as well. Boom. And boom. Um, yeah, and I guess you could call me one of like the OG ASMR people. I haven't. This is my first time making a channel, and it's something I've wanted to do for a long time. But I've been watching ASMR for well over a decade at this point, back when it was just a few people making videos. And it was something that's really helped me throughout my life and get through, difficult times and stressful periods. Um, and I just kind of wanted to create a space where, I could kind of give back that feeling um, to someone else. I think a lot of people who make ASMR videos kind of feel that almost a need to do that. Um, Here's a nice look at another tree that's changing here. Um, but anyway, I think, uh, yeah, I just want to create a space where people feel like, they can come and unwind at the end of the day. They feel like they can learn something in a safe space, and they feel like they can just be part of a larger community that, really supports each other. I know that the internet sometimes there's a lot of trolls and there's a lot of just uh, not so nice people on the internet at times, especially on social media, um, and even in your day to day. But to just have a community of people that you can fall back on and kind of just, enjoy your time with and, you know, not stress out too much, I think is a really valuable space to have. And, finding that on YouTube over a decade ago for me was a huge help. And I know it is to a lot of other people as well. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy that. And I'm excited to take you guys along for the ride with me. I have no idea where this is going. And I know that the beginning, the first couple of videos are probably going to be a little raw. I know that this video is probably a bit raw right now as well. I don't have much equipment. I just have the camera that I'm recording with, which is actually a pretty nice camera I came into possession with, but didn't really have a use for it. I didn't have really a purpose for it until making these videos. So I'm glad that it's finally getting some use. But right now I'm just recording audio through my computer. You can probably tell that I don't have a microphone or anything. I would need to invest in that, but I want to see where this goes first before I make that investment. But anyway, enough about that. That was kind of a longer aside than I was hoping for. Um, we're continuing down this path, and as you can see, it's starting to get a little bit more. It's still pretty wide, but it's starting to get a little bit more condensed, and you'll be able to tell that it gets more condensed as we go further. This part of the trail is not typically maintained as well as the beginning parts of the trail, obviously. You get deeper into a spot and it gets less well maintained, but we are going to take a detour down this side trail here. It's called the K Trail. I've never actually been down this trail before until now, so this is a new experience for all of us. Look at a kind of a funny looking rotting tree here. Yeah, I'd never been down here before. Hadn't actually even come across it. I usually turn around before I reach this point, but I was feeling a little adventurous today and decided to go for it. Looks right now pretty similar to what you would see along other points of the trail, and nice wide trail, pretty well defined, and pretty good trail signs as well, which is always appreciated when you're walking in new places. One thing you will notice here, I'm kind of looking at it right now, if you look kind of along the screen, is this stone wall here, and you might be wondering what a stone wall is doing in the middle of the forest. But these are actually quite common in Massachusetts. These are not old growth forests, these are very new forests. Um, when the European settlers came here in the 1600s, 1700s, all of this land was cleared for agriculture, and so those walls are the remnants of people's farm plots, which is why you see them in the woods today. And there's another really big mushroom that I really wanted to take a look at. Um, like I said, they're everywhere. Um, and here I am. I hope you can see some bugs through here. I think I got buzzed by a few while I was taking that shot, but it was worth it. But anyway, the yeah, the stone walls are very prevalent pretty much everywhere you go here. And all these trees here are when the settlers moved during the Industrial Revolution. They moved to the big cities where all the jobs were, and the farmland was left to kind of take care of itself, and the trees grew back. So if we ever are going throughout New England and you see stone walls along the trails or along the spaces that we go, that's exactly what it is. So don't be surprised if you see that in the future. Um, as we're going through here, we see a lot of new growth. There's a lot of really small pine trees that are starting to kind of fill in the areas and the gaps where the bigger trees are. And that's essentially how the forest works. When one tree um, falls over or dies, there's always a new one to replace it. And those trees are going to be competing for the light. And eventually, a number of them are going to grow into these big trees that you see now. But I think, as you can see here, the trail is starting to get a little bit less maintained. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. Um, there's a lot more leaves. There's a lot narrower of a trail. And to be honest, I think I just tripped there. There was a point on here where I stubbed my toe, and I definitely swore. But the beauty of this is I can mute that and just talk over it. This trail's a little bit windier than the other trails that we've been on. There's a little bit of an elevation change towards the end, and you can see the wall is still continuing to the left of your screen. That goes down a long ways. But yeah, we're kind of, I think pretty soon we're coming towards the end of this. In the future, I might do, I definitely will do more of these. Or we're just walking in different spots, different natural spots. I might go to, when I become more comfortable vlogging in person or holding a camera in person, I might go to some places with a bit more people so you can see more like, I don't know, city life. Here, there's a lot of pine cones right here. I forgot my shoes were very sticky after this walk because of all the pine sap. And this is the time of the year where all the trees drop their seeds, so you're going to see a lot of pine cones on the ground. You could really see it on this trail. But as I was saying, yeah, maybe when I become a little bit more comfortable holding the camera in public, because that is a little awkward, I have to say. Maybe going to some places with more people so you guys can see surrounding communities. A lot of rocks through here. I had to be a little bit careful because I would really like to kind of capture the culture of the areas that I go to. And so if you would ever like to visit at some point, maybe you watch one of these videos and say, hey, I'd like to go on vacation there. I'd like to take a day trip or, go for the weekend. You can do that. Panning to the left a little bit here, you see a grove of trees in there that you can see me pointing there that are turning red, very vibrant red. They're going to be in about a week, and you can really see it here, really standing out against the green of the other trees. But yeah, the next video I'm planning to do a video, 2 videos a week is the plan right now. That might fluctuate a little bit as we go, but that is the plan right now. I'm planning to have another one out in a few days, so stay tuned for that. And right now we're coming to the end. The trail keeps getting a little bit more degraded, and right as we're coming through here, you can see kind of like bushes that start to encroach on the trail a little bit, and it just felt a little too rugged uh, to keep going for just a basic walk. If I was climbing a mountain or a hill, this wouldn't be an issue, but I didn't bring the right footwear either. So, because I didn't want to use my tripod and my camera as a machete, I decided to stop here and continue along another time. So that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, if you did, I would appreciate you liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.